Our next presenter is a poet and an author who came all the way from Bellingham, USA. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Shannon Laws. We'll now have poetry by Shannon Laws and Tagore's poetry questions.
It is wonderful to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. I always love it. Always good. In preparation for today, I was greatly inspired by Tagore's poem, Question. And I think this is a question which has there's many questions that have very few answers, and there's one that just always comes up. Why? You know, as humans, there's a traditional story where the first man and wife, they did all right, but one generation later, murder. We couldn't even make it past anything farther. We just right away, right up on that foot. His poem Question talks about murder, and he's asking why. And there's this issue of speechlessness. When you are a writer or a poet and you're faced with a situation that you have no words for, that's not a good place to be. And yet at the same time, it's the perfect place. Because this is a place of challenge. This means that what you have seen, what you've witnessed, great or tragic, needs to be shared and it needs to be told. Tagore, of course, is a master at doing this. However, this month I should say, in preparation, I couldn't help but connect his issue of question with something that has recently happened in the United States. On August 9th, Michael Brown, 18 years old, he's hit 6 times, shot 6 times by a police officer when he was being pulled over. Speechless. Right now there's a scene still going on today where on one side of the road there's people holding signs that say don't shoot, directly across the street from the police in military-style operational gear. The forensic pathologist who also reviewed JFK and Martin Luther King's autopsies, Dr. Beatty, waived his $10,000 fee for the family to investigate this gentleman's injuries. Then he related to the lawyer for the family. The lawyer said the police officer had a brazen disregard for the very people he was supposed to protect. And basically what had happened was a young, unarmed man was shot in broad daylight. This, of course, is in Ferguson, Missouri. It's in the headlines all this month. Question by Tagore. God, again and again through the ages, you have sent messengers to this pitiless world. And they have said, forgive everyone. They have said, love one another. Rid your hearts of evil. They are revered and remembered, yet still in these dark days, we turn them away with hollow greetings from outside the doors of our houses. And meanwhile, I see secretive hatred, murdering the helpless under cover of night. And justice weeping silently and fervently as power misused, no hope of redress. I see young men working themselves into a frenzy, in agony, dashing their heads against stone to no avail. My voice is choked today. I have no music in my flute. Black, moonless night has imprisoned my world, plunged it into nightmare, and this is why. With tears in my eyes, I ask, those who have poisoned your air, those who have extinguished your light. Can it be that you have forgiven them? Can it be that you love them? So how do I connect to this poem? What do I have? I have not witnessed murder. I've seen death, but not murder. And I had to relate. And what I related it to was speechlessness. There are moments when there are no words. He called it his music, his flute had no music, and so I found a poem of mine where I say, my speechlessness is like a full stream that runs silent. A couple months ago, I started writing exercises where I go for walks in my own neighborhood, and then I write what I saw. I learned that within 10 miles, not even, within 5 miles of my own house, there are homeless camps in the woods, sometimes 20 feet from the very paths that I walk. And I had no idea that they were there, hidden in our deep, thick woods that we have in Bellingham. I was speechless. Homelessness is on the rise since the Great Recession in America, and I hate it. Morning walk. This morning the clouds sleep. Ground fog rests silent in the hills, clings to the earth like a warm blanket. A van full of everything anybody owns, even the owner, slumped over fast asleep with no blanket, no coats for insulation. Dew still on the grass, crows and seagulls shout at each other, caws versus shrieks. Calls of our hilltops wrestle with the sound of the sea. Turning the corner, large black garbage bags from a baseball stadium rip open. Guts of popcorn and half-eaten hot dogs spill out. 5 seagulls look after it, with regal heads and crisp beaks, soldiers guarding a treasure. On the next corner, a cherry tree shows off its early fruit, yellow blending to orange. By fall, cherry red will be visually defined. Next block over, I tiptoe by another man, asleep in his car. Blue Ford Escort wagon is his address. 2 in one morning, a few evergreens over, a homeless tent camp lays beneath the heavy boughs. Signs, for rent, for rent, for rent. Continue upwards towards the stadium, trekking over a silent creek full of water. The surface so still, you can dance on it. Thank you very much.
And so our next poet after Bellingham, our next poet is from Bowen Island. So please welcome on stage Bernice, prize-winning poet, freelance editor, and leader.
It's always an honor to be here, and especially taking part in the Vancouver Tagore Festival. Looking through, I have one small book of his songs and one of his poems, plus the many, many things that you go on the internet. Always amazed at all his talent and especially his wisdom. And so I was thinking about his poetic use of gardens and agriculture, how he used the natural world to make messages for us. And I think maybe the whole idea of his praising flowers and then telling us to save energy to get rid of harmful insects and diseases of our plants has influenced certainly my writing of this poem, Grow Towards the Light. And I believe that that's one way we praise our heroes and heroines of arts, is to copy them. Greenhouse folk know sunshine, twirling clouds, 360 degrees, aiming pot lights at every angle for even shine, training growth for smooth curves, equal-sided growth, ever aiding with fertilizers, measured waterings, judicious trimmings, balance. Creating gentle plants, tamed for standard shapes. Still, gardeners watch out for slugs, aphids, mold, and much more for banishment. If only one's offspring could be honed towards the light. Not that parents yearn for conformity, just a few bright blooms per season, growing on kinship stems. And I think if I were to read the Tagore poem that I've chosen to an English background of people, I would probably give it a title, You Are Strong. And I think that was the message I took from the poem, and Duke very kindly explained to me that songs have their first line as their title. Doubts and perplexity demean you. Don't get unnerved by the possibility of danger. Rid yourself of fear. Discover strength within you. Conquer yourself. Protect the weak. Lash out at the wicked. Never imagine yourself weak or helpless. Rid yourself of fear. Never hesitate to rely on yourself. When, like the Count sung, you'll hear virtues call, quietly, determinedly, you must stake your life. Rid yourself of fear. Show your mettle, accomplishing any hazardous task. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bernice. That was very nice. And just to let you know that tomorrow, the poem that Bernice just recited, tomorrow we'll have a rendition of the same song, Shanko Chirobiu Bhalata Nijere Apoman. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me immense pleasure once again to introduce another poet from Bellingham, Carla Shafer. Both Carla Shafer and Shannon Laws are associated with our partner organization, Chukanut Sandstone Riders Theatre in Bellingham.
Well, it's wonderful to be here. I'm very happy to be invited to read this year. My poem from Tagore is New Birth, and it was translated by William Radis. New birth. New deliverer, the new age, eagerly looks to the path of your coming. What message have you brought to the world? In the mortal arena, what seat has been prepared for you? What new form of address have you brought to be used in the quest for the sacred in humankind? What song of heaven have you heard before coming? What great weapon for the fighting of evil have you placed in the quiver, bound to the waist of the young warrior? Will you, perhaps, where a tide of blood besmirches your path, where there is malice and discord, construct a dam of peace, a place of meeting and pilgrimage? Who can say if etched on your forehead is the secret mark of triumph of some great striving? Today we search for your unwritten name. You seem to be just off the stage, like the imminent star of morning. Infants bring again and again a message of reassurance. They seem to promise deliverance, light, dawn. This is a perfect poem to follow the one Bernice read, in the sense that clearly Tagore is looking for that which is in each of us, to bring forward from a time before we really have an awareness of what is needed, those tools that might change all human nature for the better. And the poem came to me just a few months after a grandchild was born in my family. So I named this poem Grandchild because it is within each of us to realize that dream that Tagore was pulling forth for us to look at. Grandchild, star of morning, uncurl your fist held round for the womb. Open your eyes and see our faces, weathered, burdened, yet smiling. Your memory of mother's voice now painted on her lips. Memory of father's words evoked in the sight of his face, the touch of his beard. All this gathered as evidence of your future and past. You have come to the light where you see the dawn break across the horizon. You see your path. You already know what we continue to miss, what we daily put aside. You claim this new day with an open heart. Sing the song of the spheres. Your possibilities abound. We hold you curled in our arms, secure in the warmth of family, to add to your quiver, alongside vibrations of love in the smile on your face. Triumph over fear as your body shudders with energy. Knowledge of peace in the depths of your sleep. And the cries from your lungs are passion for justice and action. All these you bring out of the darkness and into the light. Take your first step, leg sturdy and your feet on weathered ground, constructed floors and sidewalks. You will find boundaries of neighborhood and forest, desert and ocean. Learn your pace by tripping and falling. Increase your speed for downhill swiftness or uphill slackening. You are ready. Choose an arrow from your quiver, shoot it out as a new morning star, sharp light piercing the dawn. We are ready.
Good.